Hi, everyone. So I wanted to take just a couple of minutes and walk you through the pivot tables in Google Sheets. So what I've done is I have opened up the link that has the file for the project. And so remember what you're going to want to do if you work in this project. If we add something here, um, or if we add another tab, everyone's going to see our work on this link because this is a shared document. So make sure you do the file, make a copy, and you can take out the copy of it and then just add your name to the end. And we're going to wait to do any of these things down here because we don't want to copy comments. There aren't any of those, and we do not want to share with the same people. So we're going to make this copy. So as we think about pivot tables and how they work, essentially they're very useful for summarizing large chunks of information. So please take some time to read through the data, explore these links that will help you understand pivot tables just a little bit more. Even though they're in Excel, it's the same idea. So essentially, when you're working through this project, this has your details, okay? So your hotel financial details. And the idea is that the pivot table, if we look at this, we're starting on about line 5, and it's going all the way through. If I just keep scrolling down, I'm going to grab the scroll bar over here on the right. It's down to 8,000 lines. Now, companies are going to have many, many, many more lines of data. So what is important to do here is I always try to locate the end of my data, and there are lots of shortcuts, but we don't necessarily need to focus on the shortcuts. We just need to make sure that we've selected all the data to make this as easy as possible. So I'm going to start here, and I'm actually going to hold my shift button down, and then I'm going to arrow over. And what that's going to allow me to do is highlight information. So now with this, I'm going to go ahead and you can let go of the shift button. I'm going to scroll all the way back to the top. And before I click anywhere, I'm going to click the shift button again, and I'm going to click on account, type, and DRCR, which is debit and credit. Your debits are positive, your credits are listed in parentheses as negative. Okay. Now, since I've done that, now you can let go of the shift bar, or the shift key. Sorry, I keep calling it a bar. On the old computers, they used to be bars. So now that you've done that, right click in this area somewhere since you have all your data highlighted. And you can look at some of your options here. Okay, so we can do some things with this, create filters, delete cells, insert rows. Okay, so that's just some of the things that we could do. But what I actually want you to do is go into your insert option at the top and click pivot table. And when I create my pivot tables, I always like to put them on a new sheet. I like to keep my data separate. So here, this is fine. This is what's telling you you have a selected range of cells. So go ahead and click create. That range of cells, as long as it's accurate and has everything we need, should be appropriate. Okay, now here's the trick. It's got this box right here. That doesn't really tell us anything. So we need to use the editor to get that information over there. So we're going to do this. It's a little bit different than in Excel. So if you're using Excel, just remember, Google Sheets can do some of the same things. It's not quite as robust, but it's the same idea. So what we want to do is we want to actually start with type and put that in our rows. Because if you remember looking at the financial details, we had 3 types of accounts: assets, liabilities, owner's equity. And we need to keep this in balance. So we're going to list that there. Then we're going to move and put account right underneath it. And you'll see what happens is it kind of magically puts together all of the accounts right under the type of accounting equation element. And we like that because it's going to summarize for us very quickly all of the information in our financial deeds. Finally, this one is a little bit tricky. So our amounts, okay, our actual amounts, we want to move them under values. And what that's going to do for us is give us the sum of all the information for our accounts. And what I can do too is size these cells, make them a little bit bigger. I love commas. So make sure that you have this option. Some of you may need to click on this and even put in the dollar sign if you want to see the dollars. that might be helpful for you. If you want to increase or decrease the decimal places, we don't have any decimal places. Most all other reports will have some decimal places, but when we get to financial statements, we don't even want to show those decimals. So we're going to just move those out of there. Okay. Now you're ready to work on your project. Okay. So you can close this editor if you'd like, so you can see and have more room. I want you to notice a couple of things. One, all positive numbers are debit balances. So our assets have debit balances. All liabilities and owner's equity, as long as they are negative numbers here, and now that I've changed them to dollars, our parentheses are gone, and that's okay. Those aren't negatives, those are credits. Okay, so for liabilities, these mean we have debts. The negatives means we have equity. Now, keep in mind, we've also got some expenses layered in here. So those are going to have different balances. Those are debits. Okay, so the most important thing here, grand total, 0. That means if I sum all of this up and I just grab all of these, I am going to see that I have a net sum of 0. That means my assets of $48,728 are going to equal my liabilities plus my owner's equity. So I'm going to show you that. If you click on the 1,985,000 and then click Control and click on owner's equity grand total, look at this total here. Our positives equal our negatives. 48,728,540 equals our assets of 48,728,540. Now your task is to either use the Lowe's financial statements. You can use the financial statements that exist in the textbook sprinkled all throughout to find some financial statements to create. Now, you're more than welcome to insert another tab, or if you'd like, you can just make your financial statements over here. But you need the heading, you need the date range, and you need to make sure you're presenting all of the accounts in the appropriate manners for the financial statements, being the balance sheet and the income statement. And don't forget to use the Hints and Thoughts tab. Please reach out with any questions, and I look forward to talking with you soon.